I'm going to hack the mainframe. Hey there, Z Nation fans. Welcome back to another episode of the Z Nation After Show here on AfterBuzz TV. Tonight, we are talking about Season 5, Episode 11, Hackerville. We're going to be breaking down the episode, and guys, we have a very special guest joining us in studio tonight, so stay tuned.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
This is like one of the first times we've had like the techno-y AfterBuzz intro go into like another techno song right at the start. So
I regret nothing.
I kind of dig that transition. Not gonna lie, I didn't even have to stop dancing.
I regret nothing. I love Tron Legacy.
So good. One of the best soundtracks out there. Hey there, Z Nation fans! Welcome back to the Z Nation After Show. I'm Megan Salinas. Let's not waste any time. Let me go ahead and introduce my fantastic panel. To my left, Katie Cullen.
Hi, all my buddies.
To her left, Michelle Cullen.
Hey everyone, how's it going?
Joining us in studio tonight is a very, very special guest. You guys might recognize her as Red from Z Nation. We have Natalie Jongjaroenlarp joining us in studio. Woo!
Welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah.
Are you excited to chat about tonight's show?
I am very excited.
I know, it's hard not to be like kind of pumped up with the techno going in the background.
Definitely.
Steve, can we just get this on a loop for the rest of the episode?
I know, yes, we're going to talk about techno when we talk about Becky.
Oh, now I'm sad. Well, we want to hear what you guys have to say about tonight's episode. Katie's got you guys covered in the live chat, and we are going to be keeping an eye on the hashtag ABTVZNation for all of you guys on Twitter. Alicia Perez's GIF game is always on point.
Always.
So
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what you guys have in store to talk about tonight's episode. So yeah, guys, let's start with Katie. What did we think of tonight's episode?
I really enjoyed this. For Z Nation gimmicks can be hit and miss. This one was definitely a hit. I thought this was hysterical.
I agree wholeheartedly. This was such a good episode all around, and the dichotomy between the humor in Hackerville and the really just the pure sadness and emotion going on in your scene with Sunmay is just, so good. And then a twist, not a twist, but like another cliffhanger that you're like,
Definitely.
no, keep going, please don't stop here.
Wait, we're stopping here? There's got to be like 5 more minutes.
The episode ended and I literally went, what? That doesn't seem right.
Like, and roll credit. No, not yet.
How about you, Natalie? It's one thing working on the show, and then it's another thing to see it all come together. What did you think of this episode?
Yeah, it was really awesome to see what the other cast members were up to because, I wasn't in those scenes. I only knew about
That must have been really weird for you to be like, you guys were in this very dramatic, very dark place for the entire time that you were shooting, and then to sit down and watch this episode and to see like zombies getting killed with little drones and seeing little nerd hacker jokes, like it must have been quite the juxtaposition.
Yes. I was definitely a little bit jealous that they got all the funny lines and, the laughs because, definitely we were in the thick of all the misery of what was going on with our characters in the scene, so.
Yeah, kind of rough. This was a rough one.
Yeah.
Red's had a real rough season.
Yeah. She's really had a really tough time. I keep talking about that all the time. I'm like, okay, so she gets separated from 10K after she just got reunited with him. Now we're going to kill one of the people that helped you when you first got to Ultra. No big deal. And, we're just going to keep throwing things your way and you're just gonna have to deal with it.
It's like getting separated from 10K is where she like starts off in this series, and then like it just keeps getting worse because she loses her brother, she gets separated from 10K again, gets potentially kidnapped and now she's like stuck at Alturo. He just took a walk and never came back.
Yeah.
Not cool, 10K.
Yeah. I don't know what that was about.
He just up and left.
He literally got distracted, wandered off, and never came back.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
It's not like anyone else has a cell phone.
Boy's obsessed with himself. That's all I'm saying.
If you're gonna wander off and go on an adventure, guys, always leave a note for your loved ones. That's all we ask.
Very much appreciated.
It would have taken him 15 minutes to write the note. Have you ever tried writing with your non-dominant hand?
He could have dictated it. To what? Another human. You grab a buddy with 2 working hands.
You mean the people that he was trying to avoid so he could escape and figure out what was happening with the talkers? Those people?
Excuses. Boys
Leave
are
a
always
note for my girlfriend and also forget I'm here. Thanks.
Boys are always coming up with excuses. But before we get too deep into tonight's episode, we have a quick announcement for you guys.
Hey AfterBuzzers, our network produces after shows for nearly all your favorite TV shows. From dramas, reality TV, sci-fi, and more, there's no network that works harder to serve television fans. But we need your help. We're asking that you please subscribe to one or more of our YouTube channels. By subscribing to our channels, YouTube will suggest content that's tailor-made for you, and you'll help AfterBuzz continue to grow. And if you're worried about pesky notifications, don't be, because they're optional. So hit that subscribe button now for this channel, and check out our other AfterBuzz TV YouTube channels as well. Let us know you did so in the comments, and we'll thank you on air. For now, thanks for being the best fans and for helping us be the ESPN of TV talk.
I highly recommend the animation channel for you animation fans.
It's almost like we live there.
A little bit. You'll see a couple familiar, lovely faces there for sure. So yeah, guys, let's go ahead and dig into this episode. I want to start off with Murphy's sort of side of the equation, because we've talked a lot about Murphy's character development over the course of several seasons, and we talked a lot about it the last time we saw him, which was the bakery episode. This one, I felt like it really took things another additional step with him, because for the most part, it's regular Murphy, but he makes a choice at the end of this storyline that I feel like he wouldn't have made in any other previous season. So yeah, let's start with Michelle. What did we think of sort of Murphy and Estes sort of going head to head in this episode?
It was so badass. It was just so well written and so well acted, and the discomfort was palpable while watching it. Just that uneasiness in the scene, and they played off each other so well. It was powerful the entire time. Anytime it cut to them, it was just like, please don't find the talkers. Please, Murphy, just keep being you in this moment. And then that moment at the end, I agree with you. I don't think he would have done that in any other season. I think he has become a leader in his own right, following Warren this entire time, and then being separated from Warren for so long, and just really coming into his own.
I love that we get the reminders in this episode that, yeah, Murphy was a con man.
He definitely has that like grifter sort of like, I'm just gonna roll with this situation.
An incredible amount of charisma. He plays it so well, and then he's using his powers for good in this episode, and you don't usually see Murphy use his powers for good, full stop. So it's good to see. I also agree. I don't think he would have done this in any other episode. But I also don't think he would have done this if Estes hadn't forced his hand. Like, let's use a child as bait. Who's the monster here? Who is it? Remind me?
I really liked that as sort of a dramatic element of this story. A kid goes missing after Estes and his men supposedly leave. And I felt like that was the perfect emotional beat to hit, because last season Murphy lost his child. So he doesn't make a huge deal of it as they're looking for him, but the fact that a kid is being used as a bargaining chip in this scenario is something I feel like really got under Murphy's skin. Like, it's bad just on its surface, but with the added context of Murphy having been a parent who lost his kid, like, there's an additional layer of subtext there where, like, it kind of twists the dramatic knife a little bit, and I really felt for him as, trying to do the right thing.
We've come a long way since the baby.
Since the zombie baby.
In season 1.
Season what? Yep.
In season 1.
That's what it is now. That's what #season.
Natalie, having been on set and worked alongside Keith, what is it like seeing him like bring sort of this additional element to his role this season?
Well, Keith is such an amazing person besides being such an amazing actor, and I think seeing him in a more sympathetic role, like what you're saying, we can all sympathize with the fact that he lost his kid last season. I mean, not only was that really well acted, but also everyone can relate to someone that they've lost, you know? And I think that's the whole, you know, theme of the show too, is, you know, when your back is against the wall and you have, you know, nothing left to lose, what do you do? What do you do to survive, to get by, when, you know, all the memories are still there? And I think Keith does a really good job at showing the audience a more humanistic side to his character this season too.
Yeah, and it's really great too because there's a lot of dramatic tension going on, and he, and of course Russell as well, just keep kind of adding these little slices of comedy in there too, to sort of break the tension, but at the same time it's also adding to the dramatic nature of the situation because they're being sarcastic and defiant to this guy who brought a bunch of dudes with guns.
Should I deal you in? just 10K trying to help. Go fish.
Oh my
God. Honey. No.
See, I'm torn between, like, if I were in that situation, would I be more like Doc or would I be more like Addie, like just gun pointed at the lithium, like bring it on. Bring it on. I am prepared.
I will
Just one
burn
of
it all to
those-
the ground.
It's like, I will kill us all. It's gonna happen. And what keeps killing me about this whole Altura arc, all of it, is that there is no country right now. There is no New America. We have a whole bunch of disjointed cities. He has no authority here.
No.
We put in this big, like, anyone aiding a talker will be made a talker themselves. Don't feed the talkers, don't whatever. Who put you in charge? Who
Pandora.
died and made you, like,
Apocalypse.
stop it?
Pandora. She both put him in charge and died and put him in charge.
She has no authority either. We didn't ratify a constitution. New America is not a thing yet. It's still a bunch of disjointed cities. You can't just be like, oh yes, I rule all of this and my word is law.
You can, though. Authority isn't tied to paper. If you're a big enough asshole, you can do whatever you want.
But he's acting like it's this big
I'm
constitutional
pretty
whatever,
sure that's
whatever.
how some royal families got started.
Have you guys ever seen Eddie Izzard's skit about colonialism?
Have you got a flag?
No flag, no country. Those are the rules that I've just made up.
Yep, that's about right.
I think they have a flag, though.
But that's just what's killing me about all this is like, oh yes, these are the rules. I'm like, no, they're not.
Murphy even points out, he's like, don't you need like a warrant for that? And he's like, it's the apocalypse. And it's like, so you just admitted you have no authority to be doing what you're doing.
But he does have people with guns, and man, I wish 10K had that shot. Just, would have ended the season 2 episodes early, but you know, I just,
Problem solved.
in terms of character things, just like,
I know. That was a moment, though, with all the Twist Z Nation polls where I'm like, I know there are 2 episodes left. There's 2 more hours of drama to look forward to. But does Estes die now? Like, truthfully can't say that the answer is no, so I have to wait and see. And then it was no. But
I would have been just super happy if he had. Just like, that problem would be gone forever.
We've seen bigger bads get taken out quicker in this show. So Estes was playing with fire, and he got really lucky that Addie's trigger finger wasn't super itchy that day. So yeah, Murphy makes the decision to go with the talkers back to Altura and leaves the rest of the Russell, Doc and Addie and 10K, he leaves them behind. And so it'll be interesting to see what if they try to meet up with Warren and everybody else, or if they're just going to go straight to Altura to formulate their own plan. And what's 10K going to do when he gets back to Altura, because he has some explaining to do about where he's been.
I also have to wonder if they still have a store of lithium or if they used all of it to take care of the talkers that was there. I have to wonder if they have any left. And I love the scene of cutting it very carefully with a razor blade like it's drugs.
I mean, it is kind of drugs in this situation.
It really is.
Yeah. If drugs kept you alive,
I mean, for a lot of people,
that's
they do.
Fair. That is fair. Fair comparison.
I mean, we're talking about like street drugs
with
the razor.
I was thinking like cocaine.
Delineating. But prescription drugs keep lots of people alive.
So they do.
Health insurance for everyone. We have opinions. Feel free to.
kind of talking about Altura though. Let's go ahead and jump into Sunmay and Red's story for this season or for this episode because oh my gosh, it was like a really huge dramatic crux for this episode. Like I said, we're having fun in Hackerville and doing all the I'm hacking into the mainframe and oh here's my drone stuff, and to intercut it with this very human drama was something like I was watching the hacker stuff and I was smiling to myself going, Z Nation's such a fun, goofy show. It's always so nice to have this lighthearted zombie show to come back to every week. And then we'd go back to Altura and I'd be like, oh my gosh, like it somehow balances out so well and grounds the show, but at the same time doesn't detract from the fun either. Natalie, what do you think about how the show balances those two things?
I think that's what I love about our show the most. It's not like The Walking Dead, so I've heard.
Legit.
Yeah, so where it's, it's all, everyone's
doom
dying and let me go through the misery and the, grieving process all over again. But our show brings the fun because we're survivors. We've been doing this for years and we know, when a zombie comes, what to do, how to deal with it and things like that. There are bigger conflicts that happen, that arise, but, we just meet the challenge, and that's just kind of how our characters survive is that, we just use whatever's around us. But I that's what I like about the show the most is that we have that comedic relief, so to speak, because I just feel like it's just too gut-wrenching to have people that you care about in the show get killed time and time again, and then watch them go through the grieving process all over again. As an audience member, I would imagine that you go through it with them, especially because you care about their characters so much. So you don't want to go through the grieving process. So I like that about a show.
Speaking of
just how do you survive the apocalypse without a sense of humor?
That's very true.
Yeah.
I was going to say, speaking of gut-wrenching, what was it like filming that entire sequence?
Yeah, filming, that wasn't one of my easy days, so to speak.
That was...
but it was, I know this is strange to say, but, I know what this character requires, and I understand that we're in the zombie genre, and I understand that these things happen. So when I get the script and I see that I have to do this kind of gut-wrenching scene and we're going to have to do multiple takes and I'm going to have to do this over and over again and bring up the feelings again, I've kind of found my way through it and found my own process. But that, that's what I love about acting, is that I find something new about myself through the character. She's taught me so much about survival and standing up for what you believe in, this character. So it was really an honor, to be honest, to show that side of her character and show the relationships that she's made outside of, just the main group with Warren and everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice.
And it was a nice change of pace for her too, because she's the type of person who a lot of times has to make the hard choice, or when she suffers a loss, she has to pick up and move on because there's no time to grieve. We've seen that earlier this season, she had to make a split-second choice about what to do about 10K, and she didn't hesitate. She knew exactly what had to be done, and she wasn't sorry for it. So to go back here and to have the situation sort of flipped, where Sunmay is saying, the only thing we can do for this person is kill her, and to have Red be very resistant to that idea, I was taken aback, because I was like, normally Red's the one to make that tough choice.
Yes, well, it was very nice to have Sunmay there. I don't know what would happen if Sunmay weren't there and Red had to do it herself. I don't know, to be honest, if she would have the courage at this point, because, this is someone that helped her after she got kidnapped, into Altura. And so, like I said, she developed a relationship with her outside of, 10K in the main group. And so Yeah, I'm not sure. It's like watching, 5K get killed all over again,
no!
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yikes.
It's how could your heart not go out to her,
Yeah. Oh, man. That's rough.
Yeah.
But at the same time, one thing I was wondering, especially when there are a lot of these big dramatic scenes, and I know it varies from episode to episode, but you guys are on such a razor thin production timeline. Like, you guys blast through your production schedule at a very, very quick pace. So when you have a scene like this, do you get a chance to sort of sit down with your co-stars and kind of like run through the scene, or do you just have to go there prepared day of and just kind of do it?
Well, the one good thing I've noticed about all of our directors really is that they understand when we have to do a really, gut-wrenching scene like this. They understand that it takes a lot more than, doing a scene where it was with the hackers. It's not just all fun and games and let me say my line and let me, get the timing right. It's, the emotions have to be there. You have to see us going through it, and believe it. And so because they understand how much effort that's required, they do give us time to go through it. And we can always say, thankfully, you know what, hey, let's, can we just stop for a second? I really just want to go through this and get the timing right because I need to find the emotions within that, So I really appreciate that all the writers and the directors, they really understand that. So they give us that time.
That's good, that that they're understanding enough to know what's required to get those emotions across. That's awesome.
Very necessary.
So would you say that this was like the most difficult scene for you to film this season? Obviously, we don't want any spoilers for anything down the line, but was this the most challenging behind the scenes moment for you?
This was one of the more challenging scenes, for sure. Well, I'll just say that, earlier this year, well, no one knows this, but earlier this year I did lose my grandma. Oh. So it's okay. But yeah, so there was a lot that I was able to channel, let's put it that way, when it comes to the grieving process, because to be honest, I'm still going through it. And so not that it was very easy to do, it was still a challenge, but definitely going through it right before I was signed on again for this season definitely helped. I can tell you that much.
Well, my condolences.
Oh, thank you.
It's always difficult, but when you lose a loved one. But it's always good having good people, good directors, and good coworkers to help when you're going through something like that.
Exactly.
So you're with a really good group of people.
Yes, definitely. I really, really appreciate everyone's support. Thank you.
You ever need anything, you let us know. I do want to talk about a little bit, like, work. Shout out especially to the actress who was playing Becky, because she really sold the torment of what it would be like, kind of rolling the dice with possible cure whenever you're dealing with Murphy's blood. But she really sold the torment of what it would be like to be in that sort of
death loop,
limbo state of dying and being resurrected and dying again. Like, that is horrifying. And she really sold everything, talking about like the energy required to get to that emotional place. She's screaming at the top of her lungs for what I imagine was probably hours at a time. And yeah, oh man,
I'm amazed she didn't give herself whiplash.
She was very powerful.
Yeah, I will say filming with her was an absolute privilege, because as you saw her, she's so talented. McKenna, if you're watching this, you did a really good job. She started, from the moment that we started the scene and the director was telling us where to go, the blocking and everything, and telling us how it's going to go down, she already was sitting, just laying there in the chair, and she was already, I could see her already going through a process as an actress and getting there emotionally, and she just did not let that go. She actually kept crying all throughout all those hours.
Oh my goodness.
She didn't want to let go of the adrenaline and the effort that it would take to get all the
to
tears.
get back there.
Yeah, to get the tears back again. So she just kept it up throughout all those hours that we were doing, that we were filming the scene. So she did an amazing job.
I bet she slept well that night. Good Lord. She's like, nope.
She walks through the door and just immediately collapses.
Someone get me a Gatorade and a blanket.
Yeah, no, they had to help her up for sure after
gosh.
all that, because she
I'll
was,
bet.
she was going through it.
That
So.
sounds exhausting.
That was exhausting.
And shout out to Sydney too, because she always turns in a great performance too.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I really love, what I love about her storyline this season is the frustration of like, I have been everything's been taken away from me at this point. I'm still on my mission to get to the bottom of this, and nothing's gone right. And all of her tools that should be helping her make the world a better place have been stripped from her, and she's still not giving up, and I really appreciate that.
I'm doing this by hand when I should have a computer, whereas Estes has his nice little super secret laptop. Like, really?
Yep.
Come on.
Like Murphy points out, you have a cell phone? And poor Sun May's doing stuff by hand. Yeah.
I do love that. For a long time, we were sitting here questioning, does Altura know what the ingredient in biscuits is? And so her project went from trying to isolate what it is in the brain that makes biscuits work to, oh yeah, we know it's lithium. Now I'm just trying to figure out what this mutation is. Like, it changed with the audience's level of knowledge as well, so that they didn't ever spoil us. Because I'm sure at some point someone leaned in and went, why are you researching this? It's lithium. We actually need this. And she kind of went, what?
I like to think that was just a scene that made it to the cutting room floor. And it's just extra somewhere there.
Something that should have been brought to my attention yesterday.
I mean, Sun May murdered a man that day. Let's be real. The messenger did not walk out of that.
And then tested on him.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'll
man.
show you lithium.
Do not waste your resources.
No,
Of course not.
waste not, want not. So is there anything else about this scene that you would like fans to know a little bit more behind the scenes info?
Just that we enjoy putting on the show for you, and I just want to thank the writers for giving me the opportunity to play this role and giving me some other scenes besides being with 10K. That's pretty awesome.
Getting other actors to play off.
Yes.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Is there anybody who you haven't gotten the opportunity to act with yet that you're like, yes, I want to act, I want to have a scene with you?
That's a good question. Now that I think about it. I think I've been with everyone, because I know season 3 we were when I first met 10K, and we were fighting. I know everyone was there in that scene, including Cassandra.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
What about Katie?
Katie, I haven't had a scene with Katie. That is true. I haven't had a scene with Katie now that I think about it. Well, I would love to have a scene with Katie.
Provided everyone survives next season.
She is so talented.
I think we heard something about, like, she does a lot of her own fight choreography, which is really impressive.
Yeah.
I'm not at all surprised by this.
What's been your favorite zombie kill up until this point? Because we had a lot of good ones in this episode.
Oh, that is a good question. I don't know. I have to take it back to season 3. That moment of me running through the horde of zombies and just slashing through. That
We
is
were
still
there.
my
That
favorite.
was us.
We were those zombies.
Oh, you were?
In the movie? Yeah, that was us.
That's so awesome. Well, you guys did a
actually
great
acted
job.
together.
Thank you so much for giving me
zombies
all the
are
emotional motivation I needed in that scene.
No, I love it, because if you go back and watch that scene, you look so Bamf running, and then it's just Katie's blonde hair.
Yeah.
It's just so perfect.
I had short red hair at the time, so I had fun. Like, oh, that's me.
You kept getting called Red. Red, over there. Okay.
That would get confusing really quickly.
That's fun.
They get confused when it's me and Nat. They go, Nat. Red, Nat, you there. Okay, let's go. Let's roll.
So far, what's been your favorite behind the scenes moment for this season?
Oh my goodness. Oh, there's been so many, but I don't know. I really love talking with everyone, when we're not on set. I've had some really great conversations with Grace, who plays Sarge. She can tell you about everything. She's the type of person that would get into any conversation and would have something to say. And she's really entertaining, and she'll sometimes just start, she'll just start singing Broadway songs to you. Yes. So that, I have to be honest, that was one of my favorite moments behind the scenes. But also, getting to talk, I got to get pretty close to Kalita this season as well. Sometimes occasionally we would have lunch together in her trailer. She's like, come on over, baby, come on over to my trailer. I'm like, okay, all right.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, exactly. And she put on some, Toni Braxton songs in the background while we're talking about, our lives and, what's going on in the show and things like that. And then I'm really close to Sydney, just, because obviously, as you see, we both started in season 3, and we're still going through this season as well. So, we got really close because of that, and obviously we have a lot of scenes together. So, it's really great. Everyone's really good at bonding with each other, and I think that on-screen or the off-screen chemistry, definitely you can see it on screen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely shows through, especially with scenes like this. So really quick, guys, before we move on over to Hackerville, I want to talk to you guys really quickly about iTunes. Folks, thank you so much to everybody who's gone to iTunes to rate, subscribe, leave a comment. We love hearing from you. It is the best way to let our producers know that you guys like the show that we're putting on. So if you haven't done so already, go ahead and leave 5 stars. None of the other buttons work, so only 5-star reviews can be left. We'll give you a shout out on the show. And also, guys, we just want to say thank you to everybody who's supported us the last couple of years. So thank you guys to everybody. We love you. You're the best.
Yeah, season 5, 5 stars. That's how you remember.
Yep, that's how that works.
I'm allergic to anything else.
Yep, allergic to any of the other stars.
Oh, dear.
5 stars. 5 stars is the magic number. So, guys, Hackerville. I always appreciate any episode where we get to spend some quality time with Citizen Z and Kaya in the Sky.
Yes. And Citizen Z just being ready to bodily murder anyone hitting on his wife is just like, oh, you're adorable. It's like those little miniature pinchers that are only about 12 inches tall, but are just super protective. I love them.
And it felt to me almost like the why I oughta. Because it was just always a shot of his fist and just like, I will hit you.
But hey, he followed through on it. He
did.
Full on.
He punched Jay in the face.
Good on him.
Or Ghost King 2.0.
King 2.0.
Who was the original Ghost King and what happened to them?
Maybe it was Bones. Got a new name.
Well, I'm dead now.
You know it was just some rando on the internet. Every username has been taken.
Damn it, I guess I'll be 2.0.
It's the apocalypse, and someone else still has Ghost King?
What if it's Estes?
Well,
okay,
the implication is that it's Ghost King is taken, as is Ghost King 1.0.
I just want to say that as intelligent as Estes supposedly is, he has the world's dumbest password. Oh my God. Does this man know? Tech support, day job. Spent a lot of time today working with passwords. Does this man know nothing about password security? Why is it only 5 characters?
At least the password wasn't password.
This is almost worse. Like, oh yeah, it's a word that literally everyone knows. Oh, it needs a number for security. Let's change the E to a 3. Nobody ever thinks of that. Oh my God, what an idiot.
To play devil's advocate for him.
He doesn't need it. He's already Satan.
That is accurate. 8 years into a zombie apocalypse, I probably wouldn't give an F about making a really secure password if I had the internet somehow still.
He specifically knows that there is a hacker cadre after him. You make that password as many characters as you can remember. You make it a full-on song lyric to the most ridiculous, obscure song that you love, and suddenly you have 55 characters that make sense to you, but everyone else has hell on wheels trying to hack it. You just make it mercy! Like, you're an idiot! Yeah. No, I'm totally taking this as a character choice and not a writing choice. Like, specifically, Estes is an idiot.
You know what would be a good song lyric to make your password to troll the trolls who try to hack your password? You make the words, the song lyrics that you use, the Rickroll lyrics, and you do it in leet speak. So they finally uncover it, and then they read it out loud, and they're like, "Never gonna get, God dang it!" And they realize they might have hacked you, but you Rickrolled them back.
That would be sweet revenge.
See, I would make it like, I am the real Ghost King or something like that. Like, if you're gonna be a jerk to the people that you know are after you, you might as well go for it. And I am the real Ghost King is 25 characters-ish? More than 5?
Ghost King sucks. 101.
Just... that's he's either an idiot or arrogant or both. And I'm betting that Venn diagram is a circle. I
feel like the answer to that question is yes.
It was a very stressful day at work, and I just can't with a 5-character password. I just
You were really
can't.
stuck on this password.
He's so dumb. He's this genius that they sent off to go be the Steve Jobs of Numerica, and he's dumb.
This may be the most upset you've been about anything in this show, including every single character death.
I think you're right. It's certainly been the loudest. God bless him. He's stupid.
I don't know what Pandora sees in him.
Well, not everyone lets you stick their tongue in their ear.
Yeah, probably that.
Hey, his kink is my kink. All right, he's a keeper.
Oh, gosh.
So I wanted to ask, Michelle, you were very excited for this episode because of the guest star that was there.
Jason Mewes.
Are you a big Jay and Silent Bob fan?
I am indeed. I follow them both on the social media.
For sure. I was watching a little bit of Kevin Smith earlier today.
I will not do the song for you. Do you remember there's a song in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back where he's on the sidewalk outside the store and he sings a song about drugs, and I won't do it.
But everybody out there needs to know that Michelle can do it.
I can, but I choose not to.
Would you sing it about lithium, though?
Change the
No.
lyrics?
No.
No, okay.
That would be a fun project, though.
No.
I've never
Can't
watched
do that.
Clerks. I've only seen Dogma. So,
That's fair.
Dog, Clerks, I've seen that's the sad thing. I've seen parts of Clerks, and I have not seen Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, but I've seen Dogma, and I've seen Scream 3, where they make a very fun cameo.
Have you seen Mallrats?
I have not, but I've also seen the Clerks animated television show. I have not seen the movie, but I've seen the Jay and Silent Bob television show.
Well, I know.
as you do.
What we might watch tonight after the show. Just.
It is a classic. It's got some really funny bits in it.
But he's a delight. He just is so much fun to watch, and he brings some seriousness to the joking of it. It still felt authentic. It didn't feel, campy, and we're gonna do a fun hacker scene now. It was just like, no, he's in the apocalypse, and they found him, and he just has carried on in his ways, and this entire season has just stepped it up so much.
Yeah.
In the writing, in the acting, in the storyline, just everything has been so well done. So shout out to you and everyone.
Yeah.
And it's just so good. It's so good to watch.
I think it being serialized has made it that much stronger.
Yeah.
I look at this episode and I look at specifically this group of hackers, and I have a strong admiration for anybody who, in the context of the apocalypse, stays true to who they are. And that's what this group of people has done. There's hardly anything left to hack anymore, and yet that's what they've devoted all of their time to, specifically to trolling one very evil person who definitely deserves it.
Yes.
And I can't help but admire them for that. It's both really funny and also very charming. Like, again, you could do anything in a post-apocalyptic world. There's no rules left in society, and they choose to go about what they've always done. And I think that's really fun. I think that's really cool.
And asking for legal immunity in exchange for helping. It's like, how much do you think we can guarantee?
I also really, again, it's been a consistent thing throughout this season, but I also just really like seeing George and Warren play off of each other as they go from different, every single different group of people that they've come across. Like, just seeing them react, because they've come across very different groups as they've gone to the bakery, to the farm, to the water keepers, to the mines, and now to this group of hackers. And together, they're just sort of having to rely on each other to get through it.
And occasionally lose each other's favorite knives.
Yeah, that was a bummer.
I just love the little bits of flavor dialogue when we start off, that it's like, yeah, there was probably another episode in here somewhere that just, we don't get to see what happened. And I love that.
Yeah. Just little lines like I will apologize for losing your favorite knife. Like, I'm not going to do it now, but I'll do it. I'll do it when we get out of here.
I'm sorry. It's fine. It was only my favorite knife. Like, whoa.
Those are valuable.
They are.
They are.
In the apocalypse, where are you going to get another knife?
Exactly.
It's hard. They're hard to come by.
Except that everyone seems to have them.
Well, it's not like you're going to go to the store and be able to pick up another one.
This is true.
Yeah. That is accurate.
But, go ahead.
I was going to say, there's enough sheet metal lying around that you could just make new ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But how do you... Here's the thing. This is why I need DIY videos in the apocalypse, because I'm like, how do you make a knife without something else to cut with?
See, you could make a shiv, but a knife is a whole other ball of wax.
Not in the apocalypse.
No, I mean, just like in terms of quality and metal quality and whatnot, the whole 1,000-fold blade for Japan, it's because their steel was terrible.
Not getting a samurai sword there. I just want a piece of sheet metal to stab with.
That's a shiv. That's a shiv. I'm trying to teach you something. Excuse.
A shiv is a knife. But
No.
Anyway, what I really liked about this, anytime we get to see Kaya and the Skya get involved with the action.
Yes.
And you know, it's not just, you know, Citizen Z being far removed from the situation, you know, in the Arctic. I love that they've made them involved this season, that they've gotten them out of the tundra wilderness and they've brought them into the fold where the action's at. And so just seeing Kaya actually infiltrating Estes' compound was really, really cool and really fun. And again, it was a fun cliffhanger to leave the show on.
Yeah, the final mercy. This,
It has some troubling implications.
Between that and it's just a short truck ride to the nice air-conditioned buses that'll take you to your new life. I'm like, oh, what historical event does this smack of? Ugh. Sadly, there's a selection. Yeah.
But to the writer's credit, all of that is intentional.
Oh yeah.
I appreciate, and you know, we talked about it with a lot of the writers that come in. It's just all of that commentary is very intentional this season.
Yep. And do you feel like there's definitely more of a political flavor to the 5th season that we've noticed? Do you feel that way too?
Oh, yes.
Yeah?
Yes. Yeah, you know, talkers versus humans, the rights, you know, that wonderful speech that Warren gave a few episodes ago, you know, about, you know, remember where you were before you became a talker and before the apocalypse happened. You know, would you be doing this to your fellow, you know, brothers and sisters? And I definitely feel that, especially and now with, you know, the Me Too movement and everyone should have rights, you know. I think it's definitely relevant, and I think that that's what keeps our show going, besides the fact that we have comedic relief in the middle of all the misery.
Everyone deserves to be treated with respect, no matter what your gender, what your religion, what your racial background, where you come from, none of that should matter. Everybody is entitled to the same, inherent human rights.
Absolutely.
So, yep. It's just so fun because I never imagined when Z Nation started that this would be the show delivering that message. And that's not to discredit the first couple seasons. It was just we lived in a different world and it was a different show. And I like where we're at.
It's not what you usually expect from your zombie media. Your zombie media tends to be commentary on, the darkness of man and survival and the apocalypse and the...
Man was the real monster, yes.
Yeah. The Walking Dead actually refers to the people. Yeah, okay, sit down. Yeah. So I appreciate that Z Nation has gone in this direction because it's more poignant and it's more fun.
Well, I feel like each story has its own place. It's just nice to see Z Nation change things up a little bit. So we are running short on time. Do we have any final thoughts on this episode before we move on into some predictions for next week?
God damn it, Estes.
I just love that Citizen Z copied the entire NSA codes, database, everything onto one USB drive.
They make multiple terabyte USB drives now.
I know.
It's a thing.
But it reminds me of my freshman year of college when I had to get a USB drive. It was on my list and it was like $30 for one that's just megabytes or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just... And he copied the whole NSA database before leaving.
When I started grad school, one of my professors had his textbook on a thumbnail. And so we had to pay like $100 for that thumbnail because it had the textbook on it. He's like, "You're saving money this way." And I'm like, "That's the most money I've ever spent on a thumbnail. You've given me ones and zeros."
It's always when they try to sell you their own textbook.
It was his own textbook.
Yeah,
Just one person buys it, copies the file, and distributes.
Yep.
definitely.
Yep.
All right, let's go ahead and dig into some predictions for next week.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Are we going back to Altura? I sadly did not see the promo.
Same. Thanks, Amazon.
I also did not see the promo. I saw the sneak peek though, so I'm going to guess that Murphy steals the bus.
I love that.
That's going to be my guess.
I mean, it's not the first time someone has stolen a bus on the show, and I'm sure it won't be the last. Yeah. But I am expecting things to get worse before they get better because we're in our final stretch, and that's always what happens.
Yeah.
I fully expect Murphy by the end of the season doing something straight up heroic. We seem to be building to that. It's one thing to sort of... We've seen him like skirt around doing the right thing, definitely avoid doing the wrong thing, but he hasn't like made that full hero's journey yet. And I never would have thought that this character, the con man from season 1, who is only interested in himself, like I think that's a really fitting character arc to end this season on. So I feel like by the end of this season, he's going to be a full-fledged hero. That's what I think.
Or he'll die.
Maybe. Natalie, do you have any final thoughts on...
Predictions?
Yes, what do you think will happen next? No.
I'll just give it all away.
Although talking about the future, do you have any upcoming projects that you can tell us about? We know NDAs make it kind of tough sometimes.
Well, none that I can speak to at the moment, but I am, auditioning for things and things have been brought to my attention.
Nice.
So we'll see what happens. I will let you know for sure.
Any final thoughts on this episode before we sign off for the evening?
I really appreciate being able to play this character again for another season. And I love that the writers gave me the opportunity to not only have the external conflicts that this role had the last 2 seasons, but now she has internal conflicts, and that's much more gratifying for sure to get into, not to get too into psychological development, but it's a lot more fun to play. So I just wanted to say thank you.
Well, we appreciate you so much for coming in. Where can people go if they want to find you and keep up with all of these upcoming projects, all of these mysterious upcoming projects?
Oh, yes. Okay, well, I have a Twitter account, and my handle is @NatJongjar, and my Instagram is @Natalie_Jongjaroenlarp.
Well, again, thank you so much for coming in. Such a pleasure getting to chat with you.
And thank you for everyone that's watching and tweeting us about the show. I really appreciate it.
Z Nation fans are a lot of fun.
They really are.
Michelle, where can people go if they want to keep up with you?
You can find me on Twitter @Michelle_Cullen.
I'm Katie. You can follow me all over the social medias as well as on YouTube and Twitch @Kiaxet. That is KIAXET. Make sure your passwords are at least 10 characters, have one capital letter, one number, and one symbol. I'm not kidding.
I'm Megan. You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram @TheMenguin. That's TheMenguin. I also do a Lost retrospective podcast called No Love Lost, so check that out. It's a lot of fun. Natalie, thank you again so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you, all of you guys for watching. We will see you all next time.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.